Growing up, my dad was a logger. I used to go in the woods with my dad. He was cutting with a chainsaw and we had a cable skidder. So everything was done by hand. So I used to carry his gas and oil jugs for gassing up the saw and his axe. So I was his gopher. I didn't pressure any of my kids to come into logging. And I'm very fortunate now because I have 4 of my sons in the business.
It was always fun. I couldn't wait to start working. And when school was out, I'd spend the summers out here. I graduated in 2012. I still loved it being in the woods, and then when I kind of mentioned that someday going to cut-to-length forwarder and processor, that's all I ever dreamed of. 2015, I ended up in a 1210 brand new forwarder and fell in love ever since. We're one of the first ones in this area to run a feller buncher in front, and most people are just cutting off the stump of the processor.
So when I decided to stay with a buncher, I wanted a machine that's going to handle trees with a bigger head, and the only way you can get that is with a tracked machine. And there's different companies who make them, but John Deere and they just kind of sold me on that machine, you know, just looking at the way it handled the wood. I had a guy tell me, he says, when are you going to go to real cut to length and just get harvesters cutting? And I said, no, we get a lot more production this way. Now, a guy who told me, he says, I'll never go that way. He's that way now. He bought a buncher. So never say never. I bought the 803 because we're cutting bigger wood. The head is a Warata 623. It's a little bigger head and got more power for pulling, knocking the branches off these big trees.
We're using TimberMatic Maps in the processor in both forwarders, and that's been real helpful. Rather than driving around and guessing, and you can see right there on the maps where everything's at. And it's been real handy for especially terrain we cut.
And I never told my boys that they have to come working with them. Let them make their own decision, because there's easier ways to make a living. But 4 of them decided to come this way, and I'm proud they're all doing a good job. And
I'm happy we all work together and we all see eye to eye and been able to make this company what it is.